All right, let's jump right into it. We're going to tackle a really fascinating question today. What happens when AI starts writing the replies to your medical questions? Is this a huge helping hand for overworked doctors, or is there a hidden danger we need to worry about?
You know that patient portal where you can message your doctor? If you've ever used it, you are definitely not alone. But here's the thing. For doctors, it's turning into a total flood of messages. It's just overwhelming. So people are starting to ask a pretty bold question. Could AI be the answer here?
The researchers behind this actually call it a digital deluge. And it's kind of ironic, right? The very same technology that's making it so much easier for us to reach our doctors is also completely burying them in messages. It's putting a huge, huge strain on the whole healthcare system.
Okay, so what's the big idea? Well, what if we used a large language model, an LLM, as a sort of AI assistant for the doctor? Now, the AI wouldn't send the message directly to you. No way. It would just write up a first draft, and then the doctor would come in, check it, change whatever they need to, and finally hit send.
And the goal here is pretty simple, right? Save the doctors a ton of time, and hey, maybe even make the answers a little better, more consistent. But, and this is the big one, the absolute deal breaker, the human doctor always has the final say. Safety first, no question about it.
So, to see if this whole idea actually holds water, a study was set up. They got 9 ophthalmologists, that's eye surgeons, in India, and they gave them a task: answer 144 real-deal patient questions about cataract surgery, which is, one of the most common surgeries on the planet.
And they put 3 different methods to the test, kind of like a head-to-head competition. First up, you've got the classic approach. Just write the answer from scratch, no help at all. Then you have the 2 AI methods. In one, the doctor could just directly edit the AI's draft, and in the other, they could give the AI instructions on what to change.
And that difference is super important. Think of it this way. Are you a co-pilot or a director? The co-pilot is direct editing. You're right there in the text box making changes yourself, just like editing a Word doc. The director model is, well, you're directing. You're in a separate box telling your AI assistant, hey, change this part, get rid of that, and then you see what it comes back with.
All right, so after all 144 questions were answered, it was time to crunch the numbers. The researchers were looking at 3 main things: speed, how fast did they get it done; quality, how good were the answers; and length, just how long were these messages. So what happened? Which method came out on top? Was this AI assistant actually a help or a hindrance?
When it came to speed, wow, there was a clear winner. Just look at this. Directly editing the AI's draft, the co-pilot method, took less than 28 seconds. That's almost twice as fast as writing from scratch. What's really surprising, though, is that the director method was way slower, almost as slow as not using an AI at all.
Okay, but speed isn't everything. What about the quality of the answers? And this is where it gets really fascinating. Both of the AI methods led to answers that other doctors rated as way better quality than the ones written from scratch. It seems like the AI just gave them a much more complete and accurate starting point.
In this chart, this right here shows one of the biggest issues. The AI drafts were, on average, almost 4 times longer than what the doctors would have written themselves. And this wordiness, this verbosity, it turned out to be a huge deal.
But, numbers don't tell you everything. The real juicy insights, the things that really matter, came out when the researchers just talked to the doctors, when they heard about their actual experience using this thing. And check out this quote from one of the doctors. Honestly, it's a little chilling. He's talking about something called automation bias. It's this subtle risk where the AI's answer becomes the anchor, and it can actually pull the doctor's judgment away from what they might have said on their own.
It turns out, the number one most important job the doctors had to do was something the study calls contextualization. Basically, the AI spits out a generic one-size-fits-all answer. But medicine isn't generic, it's local. It depends on where you are, and that answer needs to be adapted.
And here are some perfect examples of what that means in practice. The AI was talking about US dollars, not Indian rupees. It was using technical surgery terms that aren't the common ones used there. It gave advice about fasting that was for the wrong type of anesthesia. These are exactly the kinds of critical details that only a local human expert is going to catch.
And this just perfectly shows that wordiness problem we talked about. Patient asks a simple question, can I swim after my surgery? A human doctor would just say, no. Simple, direct. But the AI, it gives this whole paragraph about waiting 4 to 6 weeks and bacteria and risk of infection. It's all correct, but it's way too much, and it actually creates more work for the doctor.
So what was the main thing doctors were doing when they edited these AI drafts? Get this, the #1 edit by a landslide was just deleting stuff. Over 40% of all their edits were just cutting out the fluff, the redundant words the AI added in. Okay, so with all of this information, what's the takeaway? What did we learn? How do we actually build AI copilots that are genuinely helpful and don't just create a whole new set of problems?
Well, first off, it turns out there's no single best method. That Copilot-style direct editing, it's super fast for little fixes. But trying to do that on a phone? Forget it. On the other hand, the director style is way better for mobile, but it's slower, and sometimes the AI just doesn't get what you're telling it to do.
So that leads to some pretty clear rules for anyone building these tools. 4 big ones. 1. Make the AI's answers short and to the point by default. 2. Give the AI context, like the doctor's location and hospital. 3. Let doctors switch between editing modes easily. And 4. Please add voice input. It's essential for mobile.
And this really gets to the most crucial point of all. It doesn't matter how smart the AI gets. At the end of the day, the doctor is the one who's accountable. The buck stops with them, the licensed professional. So these tools have to be designed to support that expert, never, ever to replace them.
Which leaves us with the big lingering question, doesn't it? How do you balance this? How do we take the incredible efficiency of an AI and merge it with the empathy, the nuance, and just the plain common sense of a human doctor? That's the real challenge ahead.